in a village hidden far behind the green hills, where the air always smells of pine and the earth is moist, lived a little girl named Lina. She is only 10 years old, but her eyes radiate boundless curiosity, and her spirit is as warm as the morning sunday. Lina is a deaf child, always ready to help her father and mother collect firewood from the edge of the lush forest. For Lina, the forest is not just a place to earn a living, it is a giant storybook where every page holds a new wonder. That morning, as usual, the chirping of birds greeted the dawn. Golden light streamed through the cracks of their simple house's windows, which were made of sturdy wood. The aroma of warm tea and toasted wheat bread fills the air. Lina woke up early, her heart pounding with anticipation. She prepared her small woven basket, checked its ties, and made sure her small, dull knife was safely tucked in her pocket. Father and mother looked at him with gentle smiles, full of unspoken affection. Today, we're going to the eastern part of the forest, okay, son? Dad said, his voice deep and soothing, as he stroked the top of Lina's head. Lina's father is a strong man. His hands are rough from work, but his heart is as soft as silk. Lina exclaimed happily, "Yes, Dad, I want to help collect the driest twigs. There must be plenty over there." He imagined the pile of branches they would bring home, enough to warm their house for several nights. Mother, who was tidying Lina's braided hair, chimed in with a gentle but attentive tone. "But don't go too far, Lina. The forest likes to change. Sometimes the path is the same, but it feels different." Mrs. Lina is a wise woman, always teaching Lina to respect nature and listen to its whispers. Lina nodded obediently, although in her heart there was a slight tickle of curiosity. She always believed that the forest held secrets waiting to be discovered. They set off their footsteps in unison, accompanied by Lina's cheerful little laugh, breaking the silence of the morning, a small adventure that she always looked forward to. They walked along the winding path, where sunlight pierced through the dense foliage, creating beautiful patterns on the ground. The forest air felt cool and fresh, filled with the aroma of damp earth, moss, and wildflowers. The sound of birds chirping melodiously, echoing with the buzzing of insects and the rustling of leaves blown by the wind. For Lina, this is nature's most beautiful symphony. Lina never stopped admiring the beauty around her. She picked up the small, colorful flowers that grew by the roadside, watched the butterflies with sky blue wings dancing among the petals, and occasionally ran after the dragonflies that flew by. His eyes sparkled, as if every corner of the forest was a priceless treasure. Father and mother smiled, watching their daughter's joy, their hearts filled with warmth. "Look, Father! This flower seems to be glowing," exclaimed Lina, pointing towards a bush where a flower with silvery white petals appeared to emit a soft glow. The flower looked so delicate, as if made of frozen moonlight. Father approached, observing the flower carefully. "That's a moonflower, child. It only grows in cool, hidden places. Legend says it keeps a bit of starlight within its petals. Father explained, his voice filled with admiration, as if he himself was amazed by the wonders of nature. Lina carefully touched the flower's petals, feeling the softness and subtle warmth it radiated. He felt a special connection between himself and this forest. A connection that was deeper than just looking for firewood. After a while, they stopped by a clear stream, its water flowing calmly over smooth rocks. To rest for a moment, they shared a simple meal, enjoying the tranquility and peace that the forest offered. However, that tranquility didn't last long. The sky, which was once bright, slowly began to be covered in gray clouds. The sound of the wind began to rustle more strongly, shaking the tops of the giant trees. Lina, who was engrossed in observing a blue butterfly with a unique pattern as it flew deep into the forest, unknowingly followed its trail. The butterfly danced among the trees, as if inviting him to keep moving further. Lina chuckled, her heart filled with joy as she tried to catch the butterfly. However, when he paused for a moment, the smile on his face faded. She realized something was strange. The sound of father and mother's laughter, which used to always be heard behind him, has now disappeared. There was only the sound of the wind and the increasingly loud rustling of leaves. The camera slowly pans around, showing a forest that now feels foreign, silent, and beginning to be covered in a thin mist creeping from the bottom of the valley. Father, mother, where are you? I'll call Lina. Her voice trembled. She tried calling again, louder, but only the echo of her own voice came back to her, as if the forest had swallowed it. A bad feeling began to creep into her heart. The clouds grew darker, obscuring the sun, and the once friendly forest now felt cold and frightening. A thick fog began to envelop his vision, making the surrounding trees look like terrifying giant shadows. Lina was lost, alone in the middle of a forest that was beginning to show its mysterious side. Fear gripped Lina's heart. Tears began to stream down her cheeks as she realized how far she was from father and mother. She tried to find her way back, running back and forth, but every direction looked the same, shrouded in a thick fog that made her lose her bearings. Finally, he sat down under a giant tree whose trunk was covered in thick moss, sobbing in despair. The cold air and the eerie silence of the forest intensified her fear. She felt very small and helpless. In the midst of Lina's despair, among the glowing mushrooms that emitted a soft glow around the large tree, a silhouette emerged from behind the mist. Slowly, the silhouette became clearer. It was a small fox, but not an ordinary fox. Its fur is silvery white, and its whole body radiates a soft light, as if it were a star fallen to earth. His golden eyes stared deeply at Lina, as if understanding every tear that fell from the little girl's cheek. Lina, surprised but also fascinated, stopped crying. "Who are you?" whispered, her voice still hoarse. He had never seen a fox like this before. The fox did not answer with words. He just nodded slowly, as if confirming his existence, and stared at Lina with a sharp but understanding gaze. There was a warmth radiating from her eyes, as if she wanted to say, "I know how you feel. Do you know the way back to my place?" Lina asked again, now with a little hope in her heart. The presence of the glowing fox somehow gave her a little courage. The fox turned around, walking slowly in one direction, occasionally looking back, as if inviting Lina to follow it. Lina hesitated for a moment, but the fox's convincing gaze made her make a decision. She got up, wiped away her tears, and cautiously followed the fox. Soft, slightly magical music begins to play, accompanying Lina's first steps towards an unexpected journey. Guided by a mysterious forest friend, their journey through the forest shrouded in thick fog felt like a dream. The luminous fox stepped gracefully, its light illuminating the path for Lina. Each step led them to increasingly stunning views, as if the forest itself was revealing its hidden secrets only to them. They passed rows of giant trees whose trunks soared high, reaching for the sky. Among its rough bark, there were crevices that emitted a soft blue light, as if the trees were breathing with light. Lina stared in amazement, feeling the ancient energy flowing from every fiber of the tree. The whispering sound of the wind among the giant branches sounded like an ancient soothing song. Then, as they crossed the uphill path, Lina almost slipped into a small ravine hidden behind the bushes. Her heart was pounding. Her feet lost their footing. However, in an instant, the fox turned quickly, its long, luminous tail wrapped around Lina's wrist, pulling her back to safety. Lina was startled, looking at the fox with deep gratitude. An unspoken bond of trust formed between them. The fox just wagged its tail, as if to say, "Don't worry, I'm here." They also crossed a small river with swiftly flowing water. However, instead of a bridge, there is a series of stepping stones that emit a soft glow beneath the water's surface. Each time Lina stepped on one of the stones, the light would pulse, guiding her to step onto the next stone. The river water shimmered, reflecting the starlight that was invisible in the still cloudy sky. Lina felt like she was walking on the stars themselves, a magical and unforgettable experience. Midway through the journey, in a small gap between moss-covered rocks, Lina saw a flower more beautiful than the moonflower she had found before. The flower shone with a brighter golden glow, its petals pulsing gently, as if it had its own heartbeat. Curiosity compelled Lina to approach. Carefully, she plucked a petal from the flower, and then a miracle happened. Within the flower's petals, a faint yet clear image of her house appeared. The wooden window, the chimney puffing out thin smoke, even the flower pot in front of the door. A visual map that guides him home. Thank you. Lina whispered to the fox, her eyes glistening with tears. You seem to have magic." She held the flower petals tightly to her chest, feeling the warmth and hope they radiated. The fox just looked up, its golden eyes seeming to smile. Narrator: The forest is not a scary place if we know how to listen. It has its own language. The whisper of the wind, the rustling of leaves, and the glow of light from its magical creatures. Lina began to understand that the forest is a living creature that breathes, which will show the way for those who dare to believe and listen to their conscience. Every challenge they faced, every wonder they witnessed, further strengthened Lina's bond with the glowing fox and with the forest itself. Her fear was slowly replaced by respect, admiration, and a new courage growing within her. After passing through various wonders and challenges, they finally arrived at an open space in the middle of the forest. The fog began to thin, and above them, a perfectly round full moon began to emerge from behind the clouds, casting a silver light that pierced the darkness. The moonlight fell directly on a dangling tree branch, and there caught was a red shawl, very familiar to Lina. "That, Mother's shawl!" Lina exclaimed, her voice choked with surprise and overwhelming relief. "That red shawl belongs to his mother, who always wears it when she goes to the forest." It was a sign, an undeniable indication that he was close to home. Tears of happiness streamed down her cheek. The glowing fox nodded slightly, as if saying, "Yes, you are right." He then stared at the path ahead, a path now clearly visible in the moonlight, leading out of the forest. The fox's gaze was full of relief and pride, as if it had completed its task. Narrator: The forest always shows the way home to those who dare to believe, to those who are willing to open their hearts to the magic hidden within. The red scarf is not just a piece of cloth, but a connecting thread between Lina and her family, a symbol of love and hope that never fades. Lina's courage, nurtured by her friendship with the luminous fox, now guides her to step forward towards the warm embrace that awaits her. Without hesitation, Lina started running along the path, her heart filled with burning enthusiasm and longing. Each step felt light, as if she had wings. She could feel the fresh wind from the village blowing on her face, and faintly, she began to hear the sound she had missed so much. The fog is thinning, revealing a familiar view of the edge of the forest. In the distance, he heard voices calling his name, the voices he knew and longed for most in this world. "Lina, where are you, child?" Father's voice was heard, full of worry and despair. "Oh, I hope she's okay." Mother's voice followed, sounding hoarse as she held back tears. Lina gathered all her strength, shouting as loud as she could, "Dad, Mom, I'm here, I'm home." Father and Mother, who had been anxiously searching among the trees, turned towards Lina's voice. Their eyes widened in disbelief. They saw Lina running towards them, her face wet with tears, yet a wide smile was etched on her lip. Without wasting time, they ran towards each other. In a matter of seconds, Lina was was in the warm embrace of her father and mother, the embrace she longed for most in the world. They hugged her tightly, kissed the top of her head, tears of relief wetting their cheeks. Lina recounted her adventure with the glowing fox. Although father and mother could only regard it as a beautiful story from Lina's rich imagination, they were just grateful their daughter was back safe. From afar, behind the bushes illuminated by the moonlight, the glowing little fox watched the heartwarming reunion scene. Her golden eyes radiated warmth and contentment. He saw Lina, who was now safe in her family's embrace, and he knew his task was complete. Slowly, the fox's body began to fade, transforming into thousands of glittering starlight points, then disappearing into the silence of the night, merging back into the magic of the forest. That night, in their warm home, Lina sat by her bedroom window, gazing at the stars scattered across the dark sky. She could still feel the warmth of father and mother's embrace, and in her heart, she kept the memory of the glowing fox that had guided her home. She knew what she was experiencing was not a dream. It was a valuable lesson, an adventure that changed his perspective on the forest. Outside, beneath the towering old pine tree near their house, a faint fox silhouette appeared momentarily, as if smiling, before disappearing back into the darkness. It was a sign, a promise that he would always be there, watching from behind the curtain of night. Narrator: since that night, Lina was never afraid of the forest again. He knew that behind the darkness of the trees, behind the mystery that shrouded everything, there was a friend who was always watching over him. There is a miracle unseen by the naked eye, but can be felt by a believing heart. The glowing fox is the light from the heart of the forest, a reminder that nature always has a way of guiding, protecting, and teaching us about courage, trust, and boundless beauty. Lina grew into a braver, wiser girl, always carrying a bit of starlight in her heart, a legacy from her adventure in the magical forest. He knew he was never truly alone because the forest and all its creatures were a part of him, and he was a part of them. Inspired by the magic of nature and the courage of a small child.